Hey y'all, it's Jessica from Pretty Prints and Paper. Today I am catching you up on my latest experiments with bullet journaling in pre-structured planners, specifically the Passion Planner. If you follow me on Instagram for a while, you know that I typically bullet journal inside a traveler's notebook. The most recent one has been this one from Foxy Fix. They have this beautiful moccasin leather, which is the softest I think they have. It's pretty floppy by other standards, and it's held up pretty well over time. I typically just toss this into my backpack when I go to work. It's on my table at my desk, and it has held up pretty well. I can't say that I've tossed it around like, outside or anything, but there hasn't been a lot of smudges or anything like that, which is awesome. So it holds up pretty well for me. I don't know how hard it is that you might be using your planners, but typically you know that inside I have 3 to 4 May Designs notebooks. So this particular notebook cover is a size 7 and is a composition size. So that means that it's made specifically to fit 3 to 4 May Designs notebooks, which is pretty cool. So if you're interested in doing that, this is the size you want to get. And you know that I typically do the 5-day across in the weekly format with my to-dos up here and my gratitude log here with my expense log here. I keep personal and work to-dos down in the corner and then use this space for whatever. Lately, I have been really caught up in a lot of personal stuff, so that's why you haven't seen me post a ton on my blog or on YouTube, but it left me sometimes on Monday morning needing to draw out my weekly, and it did get hard to keep up. So I thought this might be as good a time as any to experiment and see if I wanted to do a bullet journal inside of a pre-structured planner. And so cue the Passion Planner. I have been eyeing this for a while. I saw it probably a year ago on Instagram and was really intrigued because of the different covers and the different simple insides, and decided to take the plunge. So I'm going to walk through how I've been using it so far. It's only been a couple weeks and kind of strange weeks because of vacation and being gone at camp and whatnot. But I think a lot of you are curious, so I will just share with you a couple of the things that I have found. I really like the Passion Planner because it does this whole passion roadmap and thinking about how to project timeline and make specific and manageable goals for your big things. So I really like that if that's not something that you typically do. And it gives you a lot of space to do creative things like blank paper so that you're not really held to the rigidity of lines, right? I liked not having to stamp or draw out my monthly grid. That was nice. So getting to use this, yes, it does lack customization in some ways because you don't get to create your own structure, but that's the con, right? So it saves you time, but it doesn't quite exactly match what it is you do freehand. So I still did my classic Tombow dates in the background, and I wrote in some of my intended blog posts in the month. I didn't write in some of the Instagram challenges because I knew I wouldn't be doing them this month really. And then some of my big projects for personal and work. I kind of used this, I kind of referred to it, but again, a weird month. I got the undated version of the Passion Planner, which means that all the months are separate from the weeks, because with an undated version, it's too hard to guess how many weeks you're going to use in a month, and so they put them all together in the front. What I really like about it, though, is that they have this monthly reflection piece. As a teacher, a leadership teacher, I talk a lot about how just going through things won't create change. Just going through what could be a transformational event is not transformational until you look back at it to make sense of it. So the reflection piece is a really nice touch for the Passion Planner piece. Things like, why are you grateful? What have you been grateful for this past month? 3 things that you can improve on in this upcoming month. Choosing some small pieces to improve your life in ways that you want to. The way that I've used the weekly, I like the Monday start because I like grouping the weekend together. I do miss having my 5-day instead of 7 days, because you can tell in comparison that the days are much thinner than my bullet journal. So I don't use the time ladder on the side. Typically it has from 6 a.m. all the way down to 10:30 p.m. I don't use the time. I use my Google Calendar because you can use digital and analog together. So I just use thin washi tape over it so that I can just fill in my bullets for the bullet journal system. And you can see that this layout is really similar to the one that I have in my weekly. It was probably inspired by this, to be honest. So I go in and I drew my lines in for my gratitude log, my expense tracker at the bottom, and used it much like I normally would. Some of the pros are that I didn't have to draw it out. I didn't have to spend time laying that out. And again, the downside is it's not immediately customizable. You saw in my other notebook that if I knew that I was going to have light days, I can make certain columns bigger or smaller depending on what I needed. So there is the give and take there. And then the washi tape, although awesome and takes care of that time ladder issue, adds color, which you know I love. The ink sometimes rubs off and it smears around sometimes on your hand. Not awesome, but happens. And I flip these two. I usually have, my work to do here and my personal to do here. So that was my own personal snag. But I still liked having this open space. Compared to my typical bullet journal or the May Designs notebooks or any other notebooks, the lines are a little thin. So I had to break out my 0.38 millimeter gel pens to feel like I could read my handwriting in the thin lines. So that's a little bit different. It's probably a 4 millimeter compared to a 5. The paper is pretty good. I don't see through a lot, so that's a nice touch for the paper piece. I used it a little bit, as you saw, for trip planning when I went to California and San Diego with my brother, and it was kind of cool to use it as like a journal for what we did that day and brainstorming the things that I wanted to do throughout my time there, because I don't use my bullet journal in the same way when I'm on vacation, right? I'm not keeping track of tasks or things like that. I am just keeping track of the choices that we did make, the memories that we had, funny things, and what places we went to, places we ate at. So that's how I used it for that week. And then finally started using it again when I came back. And this is this last week here. So all in all, it's been pretty good. I like it. There's still something about it that I'm not like loving it, and I'm not sure what that is. I think maybe if it was a little bigger, that'd be nice. This size is a little smaller than what I'm used to, but the bigger version is too big. I didn't want to carry that around either. And so I am kind of unsure, but something I'm trying, which is going to be really cool, is that because it's undated, one possibility is that, for example, I'll use it for like the week in my plan, and then the next week I can date it the same way and use it as like a health or workout tracker. The downsides for me in keeping a separate journal to keep up with my health and wellness tracking and food logging is that it's another notebook. So that kind of deters me from that. And also, like, there's not enough room within my normal space to also keep track of food and exercise. So this could be cool. I could use like 2 spreads at a time per week and have one spread be my tasks, and then the next spread be for my health, which includes things like food, mental health, and then workouts. So as an experiment, I just did this the other day. So I added like bedtimes. This I'm shading in for my giant 40-liter water bottle. How much water of it do I drink? Adding in what my workouts are. One of my friends is my personal trainer and teaching me how to lift. And so being able to keep track of what exercises I'm doing and what weights I'm at. So like, proud moment. Wednesday, I maxed out on the squat rack at 155, which was really exciting. So kind of cool way to keep track of that. But I also keep track of things like, I went to see my therapist and got to talk on the phone with some really good folks, which, fills up my heart. And that's worth keeping track of. Also, some of the, like my breakfast, lunch, and dinner is also in here. I'm not sure how this would be incorporated into that, seeing as I just started experimenting with this. But I think that'd be a cool addition to have for my passion planner. So that's that. Something that has been a theme of my life over the last couple months as, a 20-something. I think a lot of us throughout our entire lives kind of go through and are on this like reflective self-discovery piece, and it's a huge piece of bullet journaling, right? So you are the one who looks back and considers what will work for you. When you draw out your layout, you are the one deciding what is going to work for you, what is going on in my life right now, and what does that require as a structure in my bullet journal. And that continues this cycle of, okay, is this still working? Am I just doing it because I've always done it? So in the past, you've seen me do that with a monthly grid. So I used to try using the monthly grid, and then I quit using it because it wasn't serving me at all. So I went away from it for a couple months, and then I went back to it probably 7 months later because I thought maybe it will serve me now in a different time, in a different space. And that worked. The trackers, I used to do a monthly tracker, and then I was like, am I just doing this because I feel like I'm supposed to because everybody on Instagram does it? Gave that shit up because I never kept up with it and figured out what worked for me instead, which is mostly a weekly tracker. And in the same way that like Marie Kondo with the decluttering method, the KonMari, taking all of your things and looking at them and deciding if they spark joy, I've been doing that with a lot of my life. So one of the biggest phrases that I've been considering with my life and then my planning is this true or is it habit? Is this true or is this habit? So I've gone back and tried to test some of the things to make sure that yes, this does indeed serve me. So that's why I went and tried this passion planner, because is the bullet journal and the traveler's notebook style true or is it habit? And is it worth trying something else out to see if it works better for me? And so far, it's working out okay. I'm going to give it a couple more weeks as an honest shot, especially now with that added workout mental health tracker piece. I think that's a cool way that you can use an undated planner. You can use the weeks twice. My next experiment is going to be the Inkwell Press planner. I know, I feel like a traitor, but you know what? I'm gonna try it anyway, and hopefully y'all will come along with me to see what's possible with these other planners. I've been eyeing this for a long time as well. One, because it's pretty, and I know they also use hexagons, which y'all know I love, but also similar setup as my weekly already. So again, I don't have to draw out the monthly. That's pretty simple. I love this mission board thing that they have every month. The habit tracker, who knows if I'll use that, But the weekly looks very similar to what I already use. So bigger, so not quite as cramped as the passion planner. There's still the different sections that I could use for expenses and gratitude and things like that. And really, really open for interpretation. There's not the time ladder, so that could easily be my checkboxes or signifiers, which is really exciting. So that's gonna be next on my experiment list. And then here's the open notes and stuff. So I don't know. I am willing to look back at all the possibilities and seeing what will work best for me, which can be messy and it can be time consuming, a little pricey, to be honest, but worthwhile to do every once in a while. Are there any experiments and things that you've gone back and revisited and experimented with? Are there things that you thought were true and you went back and you were like, actually, no, I was kind of wrong about that? I would love to hear about it in the comments below. Hopefully I can get another video up in a couple weeks to see how this is going after a while of use, but I'm excited to be sharing this process with you, going on this journey with you. If you like it, thumbs up, subscribe, share, whatever, but most of all, I hope that you enjoy it. I will see you next time. Bye.